how do you get out of a ticket? You know, is it being nice?
Power off the rails.
No. So I did the FBI Academy, and I guess two things. No, it was just
Come again. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Entrusted podcast. I am Blaine Barber, one of your hosts. I'm joined by
Brock Murphy
and Ben Presley.
And we tonight have with us a good friend of mine, Sergeant Johnathan Whaley from the Opelika PD in the beautiful town of Opelika, Alabama.
Yes, sir.
Sister town to Auburn, Alabama. And Johnathan and I have known each other. We've worked out a lot together. We've become friends. Our kids have played together. He secured the premises for me when I was in the Barbasol Championship at RTJ Grand National, because there were so many people out there to watch me play golf that I had to have. It wasn't personal security. He was just there because he was getting paid to be there, but that's how it felt, you know.
You're a fanboy.
And
Were y'all friends at that point? Or
no, we did not know each other. I think he took an awkward picture or something from the side. Or like,
I have it on my phone. I'll show you.
that's all.
was it a selfie or just a picture of me?
In the show notes.
Was it just a picture of me or was it a selfie?
So it was actually, I think, a practice round you were doing. You were at the range, and I was on the putting green. I looked over and I was like, "Oh, that's Blaine Barber." Wow.
Let that indicate that Johnathan also is a golf nut. He loves it. We've played some scrambles together.
Wait, so you, in your mind, Blaine was famous?
To me, it was. I mean, I
didn't know. I mean, it
Is
famous.
famous.
I'm sorry.
I was going to say keyword there. Wasn't and was.
the guy
Wasn't presently then, also was not.
15 Scotty Cameron sitting over here.
True, he does do that.
That's right.
Make sure I'm going to be running security tonight.
15.
But Johnathan has been married to Kayla for how many years?
11 now.
11 years, two beautiful kids, Noah and Charlie. Just has a really cool story. Some great points along the way of divergent paths in what he was pursuing and how life was going. And now really just serves our community well, doing some cool things within the police department. So we're excited to have you here today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
Blessed to be here.
So we typically just kind of start with your life story. Oftentimes we frame it as your first birth into the physical world and then the second birth and how the Lord revealed himself to you and saved you. And you can sort of just where you grew up and family background and history and then just kind of leading to today. And we can just pick apart it as we go.
Absolutely.
Pick it apart as we go.
It'll be a lot to pick apart.
Okay.
And then
The floor is yours.
if anything comes out of this, great. I mean, I hate talking about myself, but I love hanging out with great people and talking about great things. So,
And you're just talking about what the Lord's done in you. You're not even talking about yourself. It's going to be awesome.
first off, anything I say is a representation of what my life, my story, and nothing to do with necessarily the police department, even though that has a great aspect of my life, great contributions to my life, where I'm at. But in no way do I want to necessarily represent their viewpoint. It's all me. I don't want to get in trouble at work for anybody that watches. So,
Yes.
but I grew up in Tallahassee, Alabama, so about 45 minutes from here. Family's all from Montgomery. Born and raised there. Stayed there through high school. Played football. Met my wife there in middle school. Actually, started dating in high school.
Wow.
High school sweethearts.
Say talking about the Christian side of this, and I don't give her enough respect for this, but I wouldn't be who I am without her, and I definitely wouldn't be sitting in Blaine's attic talking about what we're going to talk about without her. So everything I am is because of her. She's the one that makes me go to church. Well, not necessarily makes me go to church. Is the one that showed me the way. And I absolutely would be nothing without my wife. It's been 21 years together. A lot of great blessings, and again, nothing without her. But met her in high school. Played sports throughout. Didn't play them well, except for football. Really good at football, thankfully. Terrible at golf, still am, but love it.
It's all relative.
Yeah, it's all
You're better than Ben.
You would definitely-
I promise you're better than Benjamin Presley.
You that.
We'll talk about it, I'm sure. But
If you want to feel like how I feel when I play against you, just play against Ben.
all right, let's go. Really made me feel better about myself sometimes. But nope, grew up there. Love Tallahassee. Never want to move back, but love it. It's close enough where I can go visit my parents and they can come see us, but far enough away where we still have some distance and we have our own lives. But
Tallyssee's only 45 minutes from Auburn, give or take,
absolutely.
for
One
those who
road,
don't know
Highway
where it
14.
is. I was confused by Tallahassee a lot when I moved here and started getting inundated to Auburn culture because I was born in Tallahassee.
Yes.
Very close phonetically.
And anybody that's not from around here, when you tell them you're from Tallahassee, they're like, "Oh, Tallahassee."
Yeah, exactly.
It gets to a point where you're just like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sounds
Go
great.
Knowles.
Yeah. But nope, grew up there. A lot of great friends I still talk to this day. Thankfully, I was lucky to get a college scholarship to play football. Went to Montgomery, went to Faulkner University, which is a great Church of Christ school. Did not take it seriously. I was entrusted to do a lot of great things from my parents and got trust from them that probably I didn't earn. They gave me a lot of freedom that I probably shouldn't have had. But went to Faulkner, failed out miserably because I thought I could just go play football like I did in high school and grades wouldn't matter. Learned that was not the case at all.
How long did that take? How many semesters? Was it the first semester or like?
So it was 1 or 2 semesters. So I went for the fall.
The end of the freshman year.
In the spring. Did not redshirt. Played the first.
Move it towards you.
Sorry.
You sit back, just move that.
Played the whole first year. Didn't really care about school, to be honest with you. 7 o'clock classes, working out, practices. Didn't really care about school, and that caught up to me. And they showed me the door really quick. Then moved back to Tallahassee. Thankfully, my wife was there. My girlfriend at the time picked me back up. Kind of wandered around for a while. Didn't have any purpose in life. Didn't have anything guiding me. Finally, one day decided I couldn't just work at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Dig into that a little bit more. So you're a good high school athlete, contrary to what you said, because you go to play college football, and then what does that look like? What do those few weeks, months look like after you fail out? Like, are you literally just depressed and bored out of your mind and working at Academy? Like, what does a day look like?
So I've never quit anything in life, and I've never failed anything in life. And then my dad is my greatest hero. So to go back home to see him so proud after I signed a football scholarship to go to school,
Yeah,
and he doesn't have to worry about paying for school because I don't come from much. To see the disappointment on his face after explaining to him that I failed out of school and I can't do that anymore, that was really hard.
Yeah.
Did you move back in with your parents?
I did.
Okay.
Thankfully, I had great parents. We don't come from-
Context-wise, I'm just trying to picture this because this is very interesting. You're off at college and you're not really telling your parents how it's going.
No.
You just kind of get to the end of spring semester, show up at home, and got news for them.
Well, they kind of knew something was going on, but they were
GPA is 0.6.
yeah, they were there to support me because we're not far. I mean, Montgomery's 45 minutes from Tallahassee, kind of like it is to Auburn, to Tallahassee. So they were around. They came to all my games, traveled to Kentucky to see us, North Carolina and stuff like that. And then to have to tell my dad that I can't go back, and then when he asked me why, I can't lie to him. So I had to explain to him why. And then, they were very disappointed, but they took me back in like my great parents would. And I actually didn't work at Academy Sports. And then actually I went and worked at Hanwha, or Hanil, I should say, which is like a manufacturing plant that makes brake lines. And it is the worst job ever.
What did you do there?
So manufacturing brake lines. So you get the little PVC pipe.
Yeah.
You got to put it into a mold, and then it heats it up, and then you take it out of the mold, and you just repeat that process for 12 hours.
And you were literally like putting the
Yes.
PVC in the mold or in the
Inside of a warehouse at 300 pounds, which is not a fun ride. Not good for Husky boys.
We're going to get to that part of the story, but I want y'all to just take a peek at this guy's chiseled face right now. We're going to get there.
I'm sure at that point that you started to think that studying would have been a lot better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. And then thankfully my wife is extremely intelligent. Had a lot of scholarships, ended up going to Auburn. So she moved up here. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to move with her. So we came up here, moved in together, started working at Academy Sports and Outdoors, stocking shelves, which, it wasn't the worst job in the world, but making minimum wage at 20 years old, that's not going to be sustainable. I got to looking around and trying to figure out what I could do without a college degree that makes money. And a lot of people always say they don't get into law enforcement for the money, and I'm kind of the opposite. It had benefits, and it had $14 an hour at the time, which was twice what I was making at Academy Sports and Outdoors. So
That's awesome.
and honestly, it's looking back at it now, it's the best decision I've ever made. Again, my employer's great. I love my employer. They've done so much for somebody that didn't deserve anything. Man, a lot of that's because I'll show up and do anything I need to do to get the job done. And along the way, I've been entrusted to have a lot of great jobs. A lot of people work for me, not necessarily for me, but with me. And it's been one of the greatest things. And having a wife that supported me through everything, been with me for 21 years, that could have left at any point, especially after her boyfriend fails out of school and she's going to Auburn on a scholarship site. Why would she stick with me? But thankfully she's a great, faithful woman who stuck by my side the whole time. So
I wanted to hit on that, because you've talked about how important she is to you and, the impact she's had on you. I mean, what was that point of y'all's life like as a couple when, I'm sure if you go to play college football in high school, you were probably like the man. And so she was probably pretty proud to be dating you from a high school girl perspective and everything. And then you fail out and she stuck with you. Other than the Lord's sovereignty and her being awesome, walk me through how you kept her.
We'd have to call her and ask her that. She's very strong in her faith. And honestly, in the 21 years we've been together, we've never broken up. We've never been apart. I can't tell you why she stayed with me.
Yeah.
All I can say is how grateful I am that she did. Because again, I would be nowhere near anyone that I am today without her. She guides me in everything that I do, and I don't tell her enough. So hopefully she'll watch this, so I don't have to necessarily.
Kaylin, you're awesome.
But yeah, she's very faithful. She's at church every Sunday with our kids, getting them on the front row. I'm sure you might have seen them. They're the two kids that are always running around. My son's doing something up front always with Andrew, trying to get his attention. So
we also just found out that we go to the same church. We had no idea.
Usually I sneak in and then I sneak out. I'm very bad. I got to do better, but
neither of them knew that they went to the same church.
Well, so then it's just as much me as an issue.
Well, we actually had the conversation yesterday because we've been going there for almost 10 years. Well, she has about. At what point is 10 years too much before we start joining? So we got to get on top of that.
Yeah, you should. That would be
I would agree.
That would be good for you. Let's press in just a little bit. You said this sort of offhandedly because it's a clear part of your experience, but you talked about, or Ben brought it up, that choosing to study probably felt a lot better than choosing to have to work at this manufacturing plant doing a repetitive, boring task for 12 hours a day at 300 pounds. And I think that's just a microcosm for life, just something for people to think about. You kind of hear it a lot in the cultural discussion now with influencers and business entrepreneurs and fitness influencers and various things that chosen adversity is, I would say it's a means of grace that the Lord gives us. It's not just some check of evolutionary biology to where if we choose to do things that are hard or uncomfortable, it actually prepares us for just the suffering that life throws at us because we live in a broken world. And so you're going to have adversity whether you seek it out and pursue it or not. And so just doing the little things in your life, it could probably be just summarized as taking responsibility. You have to do the things in your life that you don't want to or that are uncomfortable. And as you do that, you grow a better propensity to just get through the next hard thing better. And more easily. And you kind of like, so there's this just idea of chosen, of conscious suffering versus, it just being placed upon you. I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit, but just do the hard thing that you can choose versus just have to deal with the thing that's thrown in your lap, Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I don't necessarily regret the path that I've had because I'm never going to question it. And it's also, like you said, made me resilient to the point where nothing's ever going to go exactly the way you plan it. But that doesn't mean you quit. I'll never quit ever unless I have to. But I just physically can't do something. But quit's not part of my DNA. I don't care what it is. If there's a path there, I'm going to find it. I may go down a couple dead end roads, but I'll turn around and find the right path and figure out where I need to go. Because at the end of the day, I'm never going to question what He gives me and what that path is. So,
amen.
There's just no way. I don't quit.
Yeah,
I'm never going to be perfect ever in anything that I do, and that's understood. Thankfully, I don't have to be. But quitting's just not an option.
So now Kayla's still with you. You have taken the job in law enforcement. And what year are we at, and kind of what does that transition look like?
So,
and you did it for the money.
I did do it for the money at the time, which is always the common theme, because if you ever get around a bunch of cops, we don't do it for the money. And it's true, we don't. Like, we do it for the purpose, the why behind what it is that we're doing, in my opinion anyways. But yeah, so it was a year and a half in, finally got Kayla to marry me.
Nice.
And then
she saw that you could do a hard job well, and that you could make a path for yourself. She's like, okay, I knew I liked this guy, but now I'm in.
Yeah.
Now I'm committed.
100%. Got her hooked now, though. But yeah, year and a half in, served 5 years working in patrol, which is kind of the common theme. You get in, you work patrol, various calls, do what you need to do. And then you can kind of work your way up from there.
Okay, pause. No, go.
Have you seen Rookie? Is that kind of similar to your patrol experience? Because I'm season 2, episode 14 right now, so I'm moving along in this.
There's parts.
You use the phrase various calls. I want you to pause there and give me 20 minutes on some patrol stories. Like,
So, I mean, it can be anything.
we haven't been cops. I've been pulled over by a lot of cops.
Yeah.
I just need some, like, what is that experience like?
So you
don't have law enforcement in your family background.
nope.
You did this because it was a viable job, and it was meaningful, it was fulfilling, and you could make some money.
Absolutely.
So now you're here, you're in a patrol car at midnight. What's life look like?
And I'll say, like, again, to touch on the money part, the money was the reason, but again, to find the purpose that goes into what I've found in the career, I found my purpose, I found my why and what I want to do.
Yeah.
And I love every second of it. So not necessarily the money drives me anymore. It's serving the community, serving the people, being a representation of the department that I work for, the community that I work for, the core values that go behind it, and just law enforcement in general, try to put the right foot forward and represent it in the right way. Because you see a lot of bad things as far as law enforcement, trying to be the right representation of what it is.
Yep.
And then guide the people that I'm entrusted to lead to do the same thing. But to answer your question, I mean,
And that's very clear from my my vantage point of view. I just have a lot of respect for the way I've done some tours at the Opelika PD with Johnathan and seen the facility and met some people, and it's like just the way you interact with your coworkers and your peers and your subordinates, and it's a great culture. It's really cool. It's an awesome place, filled with great people, and so I can vouch for that.
thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I think, and also as we zoom out, kind of what we're even talking about here, I think the Lord works in practical manners sometimes. I mean, you needed that income at that point of your life, and that was the way He got you into where He has you now. It doesn't always have to be some crazy story or crazy calling. Sometimes it's just, I failed out of college. I'm working at academy. This job's going to pay more. That's the job the Lord had for you, and now you find the reason retrospectively. So I think, zooming out, that's a cool thing for people to hear too.
For sure. 100%. But in short, like, it's a day in patrol could be anything. Could be going to the donut shop and get your favorite donuts, which is always the common theme that everybody thinks.
So that stereotype holds true.
It can. I mean, I'm not going to deny it.
Black coffee and donuts.
I do like black coffee and donuts.
Okay.
Preferably the sprinkles.
What's your donut place of choice?
I mean, if I got to do an Opelika, it's got to be Dunkin'. I can't go out of jurisdiction to Krispy Kreme then.
Jurisdiction, I love that.
But if nobody's watching Krispy Kreme, depends on what the signs on.
Cut that out.
Unless you want to sponsor us, Duncan, your donuts are terrible.
Yeah, it's a fair point. It's very doughy. But if the light's on the Krispy Kreme, your boy's going.
I love it.
Hot and ready.
Yeah, it just depends.
Is it true? Let's dig into jurisdiction for a second. If I see an Opelika cop in Auburn, I'm like, I can speed. Do you have jurisdiction in Auburn to give me a speeding ticket?
I necessarily know. I
Just a practical question. I'm just digging. I don't know.
Your general Opelika cop, there's some falls that we can go into, like if they're actually chasing somebody in a jurisdiction that goes into Auburn, kind of.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to pull you over. I can pull you over in Auburn if you're clearly violating the law, and I need to make sure people are safe.
Yes.
That's kind of different. But
I genuinely meant it, because I have heard, like, you see a random county cop in some different county, and you're like, what's he doing here? Like,
I mean, write you a ticket, probably not. pull you over and then wait for that jurisdiction to get there and then vouch for it and get that guy a right ticket and then I'll sign it. Yes.
Got it.
Technically.
Okay.
So technically you could,
just wondering.
like as a witness, because like he could technically write a ticket on you if he wanted to, if he called the law and then.
Good to know.
I mean,
Wow.
Watch yourself.
There's got to be some extreme stuff going on here.
is that a citizen? Yeah.
Citizens arrest.
Yes, it doesn't happen a lot. Very, very, very rare. Very, very few times. Most of the time, it's got to be something that I see if I'm going to write the ticket.
Let's go to the first part of your career. Just when I say patrol, what's the craziest thing that comes to your mind? You know something came to your mind.
No,
And then filter down to what you can actually tell us.
I mean, patrol is just fast paced depending on the day. Like it can be anything from just riding around, being seen to responding to people's worst day. Because a lot of times, if they're calling you, it's their worst day of their life.
Yeah.
And you have to have that empathy and sympathy sometimes to show up and understand this is the worst day of this person's life. Yeah, I still got to get the job done, but maybe I need to do it with a little bit of extra professionalism, not just go in here full force and, you know.
Like as a patrol officer, it could be as simple as a speed check or like just patrolling, literally just driving around patrolling, or you could get the call for like a terrible vehicle accident or a shooting, or like it could be any of those things.
And that can all be in 1 hour.
Yeah. Okay. And you could you could like be called to one and then have to be called to another, and you're kind of like just all over.
Yep. 100%. Like it's a stressful job, and like that's something we could talk about. And I know it's probably in the little profile thing I did is like stress management, talking about stress, officer wellness, peer support, statistics, and stuff like that is something that I'm very passionate about. That came later in my career, because you know the divorce rates for law enforcement are vastly higher than anybody else. It's between like 70 and 80%.
Wow.
So you think about 3/4 of your marriages in law enforcement are going to end in divorce. So that's stress added on. Substance abuse is up.
What causes that? Do they know, or just
It's
the hours or the
accumulation of stress that you see, because again, you're responding to people's worst days and seeing some of the worst things that other people aren't having to see.
so every day you could come home?
Yeah, and if you don't have an outlet for that, you store it up and you think about you put files into a filing cabinet. Eventually, the drawer of that filing cabinet is going to bust at some point.
That's true.
So you got to figure out how to remedy that problem.
Yeah.
And it's never 100% remedy, but there are ways that we can fix it, and things that we can do, especially communication and letting people know, you know, what's available to them and resources that are available to them and how to get the outlets, and that communication and talking about that, because it's one of the things that, you know, in general as men, we don't like to talk about. It's mental health, but especially when you have a bunch of type A dudes in law enforcement. Yeah. And again, I know we'll get into that, but that's kind of where my golf comes in. So
Can you dig in just to a minute there? I mean, no matter what your job is, we all have bad days where you come home and then you've got a wife or you've got kids or whoever else. If you're not married, maybe you have roommates, and you still got to show up for them. And, you know, sounds like for you, you probably had a lot more bad days than others, even if it wasn't your bad day, just seeing the things you were seeing. Can you just talk through a little bit some of the things you've learned as far as your marriage and even your kids coming home and leaving at work, but also not just bottling it up?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, and thankfully I've had good mentors that have helped me through that. And that's part of being a good leader, is explaining that to people and showing them the way, and explaining the pros and cons of everything. And then for me, not only do I have patrol at this point, but then I got on the SWAT team, which even has more stuff that you're going to see and things that you're doing. And in answer Blaine's question, like the first thing that comes to my mind when I talk about law enforcement is not necessarily patrol, but being shot at in SWAT operations. But at the end of the day, when I go home, I'm a husband and I'm a father, and they don't necessarily care about that. And I got to be a good husband and a good father. There's different rules of thought when it comes to it. You go home and you got to have somebody to talk to as an outlet, the way to get it out. The way I do it is a little bit different maybe than other people. My wife is separated from my job. She knows what I do. She knows I have my family intimately involved in everything that I do. They go to the police department. They hang out with everybody. They call the chief Papa Chief. They're involved, but to a degree, I don't tell them everything that I do because my wife's a worrier and I don't want her to have to worry about it. But thankfully, I got friends that, if something happens, I can call upon. But to me, like, I know I said it 100 times already, but golf is kind of my thing. Like, it's something that if you have a hobby that's directly related to what you do on a day-to-day basis, you never have that outlet for it.
Yeah.
And there's kind of a story that Simon Sinek, if you've ever heard him, he's great when it comes to leadership. But there's 2 lumberjacks that are going to work every day for the same amount of hours, except for one takes an hour away during the middle of the day each day. But they chop the same amount of wood each day. And then the one guy finally asked, hey, we work the same amount, except for you take 1 hour off. What are you doing? And he goes, well, I go home and I sharpen my axe. So you got to have that outlet somewhere to refocus. And that's kind of where golf comes in for me. Is it's something totally different than law enforcement. It has nothing to do with law enforcement. There's a lot of guys who love to go shoot guns, but to me, that still is directly related in some aspect to law enforcement. And I'm still trying to get better at something in law enforcement. And I'm not saying not to do that because I have to do that too. But thankfully with golf, I get away and it aggravates me to no end to try to be better, to get my swing playing path right, get everything right. And it's something that takes my mind off of work. So when I go back to work, I'm refocused and I can focus on things I need to work on. Are there days that I watch Blaine highlights at work? Sure, but I'm just kidding. But it allows me to refocus.
YouTube golf.
Get back to it, yeah. But having that outlet's extremely important. Having something that takes your mind off of it and really just understanding your why. At the end of the day, it's extremely important to me to be there for my kids, to be there for my wife. They don't deserve to have the version of me that comes home that's stressed out all the time. Does it happen? Sure. It happens with all of us. You go home and you take work home. It's hard to separate that sometimes, but they deserve the best of me, and I've promised to do that for them, and that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I think what you're drawing out at the ground level of life is you have to have, especially, I'm thinking for us as men, regular pitfalls, isolation, alcoholism, sexual addiction, pornography, passivity, just detached away from family and friends and just being like, okay, I'm going to just tighten my bootstraps up and I'm just going to do this. I'm going to deal with it because there's sort of this lie out there I just heard recently from a podcast. Have you listened to the Deep in Biblical Manhood Roundtable?
If you haven't, we can somehow put that out there. Go listen to it. It is awesome.
It's phenomenal. And
you need to listen to it.
One of my favorite pastors, Matt Chandler from the Dallas, Texas area. I wish I could remember the exact language he uses, but it's been sold to us that for men, strength is actually cloaked as sort of this is just like quiet passivity to where we're like, well, I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Stoicism. Like, I'm not going to be a wimp and go look for help or let people know my problems. But like, if I'm carrying around a backpack with 10-pound weights in it, and I got 9 friends walking along the road with me, like, I'd be stupid to not give everybody a 10-pound weight and just like all carry the same thing together. And so whether you are a corporate investment manager or you're a loan officer at a bank or you're in law enforcement or you're a professional athlete or you're a programmer at a tech firm, if there's something weighing on you, find a close friend and say, hey, I'm struggling. And then you've immediately just taken and given your friend part of the burden. And there's so much grace and relief in that. I promise you. I don't care if you believe in anything, have any sort of faith, or want any help, just go do that. And I promise you there's going to be relief for you in that. And I think that's what you're describing. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, I can't imagine the weight of going and dealing with a homicide and then a car wreck and a death and some guy who's doing the 14th time something illegal that he shouldn't have done. And then you got to go home and like your son runs into your arms. And it's like, that's got to be extremely discombobulating. So just get your junk out on the table and don't carry it yourself. And man, there's so much just goodness in that.
Absolutely. 100%.
And I think as Christians too, not temptation. Temptation is not the word, but we almost think like I've just got to go get alone with the Lord and pray and do those things. And those things are so crucial, but he also gives us friends. He gives us brothers to unload these burdens on. And it's both of those things.
That's right. Yeah. All right. So patrol. Somewhere in here I think you've gotten like 30 degrees, something like that. I don't like academic degrees.
Yes.
So when does that process start? How many degrees are we on now? And what was that process from being a patrol officer to acquiring more learning and then promotions and advancements in your law enforcement career? And when did you lose 100 pounds too? We gotta dig into that.
One thing at a time. I want to hear the degrees.
So,
You really athletic.
Sounds like
He's
he really
smart.
showed Faulkner.
I did. Well, I went back.
Okay. Okay.
No. So I went 5 years in patrol. What I'll say to try to touch on something we talked about earlier is, perseverance and never quitting. I don't think I've ever put in for anything at work and gotten it the first time. And that just pushes me even harder to go back and do it again. Sometimes it's not in the plans, and that's okay. Refocus, regroup, and create a plan and figure out the next goal. But so after 5 years, I put in to go work in the schools. Didn't get it the first time, and then I got selected to do it. And it's called an SRO, School Resource Officer, and it's been one of the greatest jobs I've ever had. I did that for a couple of years. I love that job so much, to be able to impact the kids in the school, to get to see people that come.
What does that entail? What are you doing in that role?
So for us, there's 10 different schools. At the time, I think we had 5 or 6. So we are assigned multiple schools. So you're going around, you're teaching the kids. My grade levels at the time were intermediate, so ages are grades 3 to 5. But that's kind of a crucial point in their lives when they're learning. And some of them don't have the male model in their lives to see. So being able to show up, and that was right when I had Noah, my oldest. And so it was great to have a Monday through Friday job, but also and be home with them every night. But to be able to go to the schools and see these kids and give them something to look up to, and then build relationships with them that I still have now. Like the kids that I had in 2018 when I first starting to graduate high school.
Yeah.
And then to see those guys run into my arms on Friday nights after football games still is awesome. But I did that for a couple of years.
And real quick too on that, my wife's a teacher. At least talk about the importance of a school resource officer, because we grew up, and I guess you did too, when there wasn't a school resource officer. And I guess
I was homeschooled.
that's right. You were homeschooled. I forgot about that.
Thank you for including. That makes me feel socially accepted, though.
And maybe
He had the best
sorry, it was a
resource
big
officer.
I guess maybe towards the end there was, but my wife talks about it a lot, and it's just it's scary.
Yeah, if you
The
have
stuff that's happened.
if you have a good one, which most of them are, somebody that's doing it for the right reasons, not just for a Monday through Friday job to get out of patrol, but are doing it for the right reasons to build connections and most importantly keep them safe. That job it's awesome. I love that job so much. I love what I do now, but that job was awesome. It was a great starting point to build me up to where I am. But it's important because like those guys are in the schools every day, so that's what the kids see. They're going to tell that guy a lot more than they would the average person because they trust them because they're around them every day. That person knows the school in and out if they're doing their job. So if something's happening, they can tell everybody where they need to go. If somebody's come, like other officers are coming, which door to come through, how to get to where an incident's happening. Yeah. And they're walking around every single day, checking doors, making sure things are safe. Campus is safe. They know what's normal, what's not normal. And the most important part is obviously keeping people safe, but having the relationships that they build within the school and being a positive model. And if they're doing the job that most of them are doing, they're changing the perspective for a lot of people for what an officer is. Because some of them have only seen officers when they're in trouble or when mom and dad are in trouble or when they got pulled over. But then they see that officer actually walking around, interacting, high-fiving, doing the disciplinary part if they have to in a certain setting, but with kids' gloves on and changing the kids' perspective so they trust law enforcement more, which over time builds that trust. So when they become adults, that's a better relationship that we have. And a lot of people may not see that, but what you do with them there on that ground level translates throughout the rest of their life and how they perceive officers and what they do. So I love that job.
That's awesome.
And then after that, I got promoted to sergeant, went back to patrol for 6 months. And then I was blessed to be the first supervisor to directly supervise the school resource officers at the time. We kind of started over with it and then built it back up to what it is now. And thankfully they have a great supervisor over it now when I got moved. I did that for 2 years. Then they asked me to move to training. Or asked me if I wanted to, and I told him no. And then he asked me to think about it, and then I thought about it, and I said I thought about it, and I still would not like to. And then he said, "Okay, cool. You start in training next week." I said, "Okay, sir."
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Question: SWAT, or is that something that is in addition to this role? Okay.
So ours is an addition. I got on that 2016, I think, 2016-ish. And ours is a little different. We have a joint team with all the agencies in the county. So Lee County, Auburn, and Opelika have one big team.
Okay.
Together with 36 people, or operators is what we call them. That's a very hard job to get. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's an additional duty. You don't get paid any extra for it. But
Y'all look really cool on game day.
So cool.
I mean, it's like insane.
Last game day, I went up and talked to him just for a little bit. This is a confession. I wanted people to be like, "Oh, that guy knows that guy." Like, that's cool.
It's kind of a fun little change there, as we talked about earlier. Him getting the picture of you at the golf
right.
tournament.
Yeah,
you
that was me,
fanboy.
fanboy. That was me.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. It's another thing I tried out for. For that, you have to try out. There's a physical aspect to it, and then there's a team vote that comes with it too. So you have to sit on a panel and get interviewed by the guys, and then they actually get to vote whether they want you on the team or not. You got to have a certain amount of people, because you can't put somebody on the team that you don't trust and that you don't want to work with, because there's a lot of trust that goes into going into a house with somebody that you don't know.
Yeah.
Or that you don't know yet, and then having to build that trust with them. So I tried out for that in 2015, 16, didn't get on, then went back and got on the second time. So, and now I have the blessing of being one of the assistant team leaders for the team. So I get to lead those guys. Plan missions and do all that fun stuff. So, but I've been doing that ever since then. And then 21 got promoted, went to patrol, then went back to the SRO, supervised them for 2 years, went to training, like I said, and I've been there ever since. And at the time, I didn't see it as a blessing or as a career path that I wanted to do. I enjoy training. I enjoy teaching. It's something that we did in the schools, is create classes to teach to the students about certain things, especially like traffic stops. And then they saw something in me that I didn't necessarily see, and honestly didn't want to see, because I enjoyed what I was doing. But I really enjoy where I'm at now, and being able to influence the amount of people that I get to influence from the start of their careers, because we get to recruit them, hire them, train them, and basically build the foundation upon which they build the rest of their career on. So I don't think there's much more impactful than that when it comes from to leading them, because they got 25 years, so they better have a good foundation to build on. So,
Yep.
So is this like a more of a classroom role?
So it depends. Thankfully, I got a great training officer that does most of the teaching for me when it comes to the new hires. But, coordinating all the trainings when it comes to the new hires, I have a lieutenant that coordinates other stuff who does an outstanding job, far smarter than me when it comes to that. And then I'm more of the logistics side of it, logging stuff, making sure people have their training hours for the year, teaching classes, because not only are we responsible for the new hires, but the training for everybody throughout the department. So being able to have the chief, the administrators, and the new hire, and be able to teach all of them in the same vein is pretty awesome. So, and then making sure that I'm giving the message to all of them. So I love that part of it.
Talked about the physical test. I think that's a perfect way to go back to how you lost 100 pounds.
So
Just walking us through that journey.
Back to Faulkner. I was an offensive lineman. I weighed
Those are big boys.
I was like 270 in college. I wasn't the biggest guy, but I was more athletic than most people, so I could out athletic people. Never stronger than them. But after I filled out, I continued to eat like I was an offensive lineman without actually working out. So that led to me being about 300 robust young man. Then just kind of went around.
300 and you're in the warehouse at that point.
Yes, not a fun ride. I got some pictures I'll show you actually with a Santa Claus t-shirt on because it's Christmas time. But it's a glorious picture. I usually make it my Facebook picture right now, but no there. And then I lost about 30 pounds, got back to 270. And then kind of when I saw law enforcement as an option, I started that journey in 2012, trying to get higher, 2011-ish. And I knew at 270 pounds, I couldn't run a mile and a half, which is the standard to get hired, in 15 minutes and 28 seconds. Nowhere near that. So I just kind of started working, got down to like 240-ish, tried out, passed it, didn't get hired the first 2 times I applied. And then kept working, got down to like 225 was when I finally got hired. And that was kind of like a 3-year journey from 2010-ish to 2013-ish to get down to 225. And then after I got hired, I was there for a couple of years and then got down to like 210-ish. And then when I started doing CrossFit, I got down to like 195-ish. But for me, that's a little too light for me. I like to still have the ability to be able to run, but also when I catch somebody,
handle people.
Yeah, like be able to do the things I got to do physically from a strength standpoint.
Do the things I've got to do.
Within the color of the law from a physical standpoint, because you're no good if you can chase a guy for 5 miles, but then when you get there, you don't have the physical attributes to actually handcuff someone. But also if you can't run and chase somebody, but you're strong enough, you got to have that fine balance there. So it's kind of where I'm at now.
Give some simple advice to somebody listening to this who's well overweight, which is unfortunately a lot of people now. And it can be so daunting. I mean, back to what we said earlier, you can just feel like you're fighting a losing battle. It's possible. You're sitting here as somebody who lost 105 pounds and got really fit, and you're a normal guy who wants to go do hard things and wants a good challenge. And so what would you tell someone who's 300 pounds, who's like, I've got to lose weight to be healthy and take care of myself, for my family, my friends, and my long-term health? How would they start?
It's just like anything else. Identify a goal, identify your why. And I say that a lot, is if you don't understand your why, you'll never see the what and the purpose of it. But you can't run a mile if you don't take the first step. So figure out what it is, whether it's, setting a goal for a step amount for the day, and then a goal for your nutrition for the day, and then start stacking those on top of each other. Because if you don't have consistency, you'll never meet the goal. Again, we're never going to be perfect in anything that we do. We're going to have temptations and give in to them sometimes. So sometimes you might have that ice cream sandwich. That doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means you got to start stacking those days again. So
I've heard this has come up multiple times lately in things I've been listening to or conversations I've had. And I'm really bad about this in my own life, but I completely overestimate what I can do in a day and underestimate what I can do in a year. And I think
It's profound.
health goals and it's like, it's partly because for me, I'm a perfectionist, I'm type A. I kind of think of like the ramifications of committing to something for a long period of time. And it gets a little bit like, well, that's like a lot of commitment. What if I miss something along the way? What if there's a better option? And truly, it's just like simply stacking a day after a day after a day after a day. And you just have to start. Like, you just have to take the first step, because like you said, you can't run the mile until you take one step. And so I love that. Like, I think we do underestimate that often, because we just get like bogged down and we don't just like go forward.
you're only limited by your imagination and your work ethic sometimes. So
That's good. Set a goal
Yep.
and just start. Take a step.
thankfully, we have a PT test twice a year for SWAT. There's a cool little belt that comes with that, and I've won it every year for the last 5 years. So
Boom, baby.
there's
Fit
guys
guy.
that are way more physically fit than me, but they'll never outwork me.
Yeah.
And if they do, then great, but I'm never going to give it to them. So
A gym is the first place we started hanging out.
Yep.
What does
Sweating
that
together.
entail? Like, to win that 5 years in a row?
Yeah.
What's the test? How are you
So
whooping these folks? What's the deal?
Do you program it? Because if so, that's an unfair advantage.
no, I do not. I did have a strong influence on some of the movements, but that's neither here nor there.
Okay.
Everybody knew the movements, but it's changed. It used to be just push-ups, sit-ups, a mile and a half. And there was age brackets that came with it, and then a point system as it goes, and they've changed it now to deadlifts. It's a mile run to start with. There's deadlifts,
This sounds like Blaine's garage.
Yes, it's basically Blaine's garage.
It's crazy how this is just good physical fitness for the SWAT team, isn't it? If you want to be on the SWAT team, come work out downstairs.
I worked out with Blaine and I was sore for almost a week and a half.
To be clear, the
I don't work
deadlift is
out, so-
after the mile and a half.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's a mile. It's a mile now, so it's only a mile. Thankfully, it's 6 minutes.
But it's like bang bang, like we're running a mile and then we're deadlifting.
There's a little bit of a time gap in between just for logistics, trying to get set up. But it's a mile run. 6 minutes is maxing it out, and then no slower than 9 minutes, and then you have deadlifts.
What if you run at 5:55?
Then you get 100 points. It's on a point system. So basically every 30 minutes you bump down points.
Okay.
So if you run it like 5:59, you get 100 points. And then there's deadlifts, 225 if you weigh over 200 pounds, 185 if under, 30 reps to max it out in a minute. There's a sled push, which is kind of the lamest part if you ask me, but that's neither here nor there.
30 reps in a minute.
Yeah.
Go back to the deadlift.
Is that a lot?
It's 225
If you're over 200 pounds.
over 200.
Yeah.
And then what was it if you're under?
185. The math makes no sense. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it too much.
Okay.
SWAT
Kind of,
guys.
it's like body weight.
SWAT
Generally,
guys put it
See,
together.
but
most people are going to be 185 or 225, and it's like body weight.
Wait, so 30 reps in 1 minute?
That would be a max. That would be 100 points.
It's on a hex bar though, so it's not terrible.
Oh my goodness, like cheating. What are y'all doing? Open like a SWAT? Get a freaking barbell.
You need to consult for it.
Yeah,
That's what you need
I
to do.
agree.
Or it needs to be 225, 275.
Let's not go too far. My back can only do too much. Then it's push-ups.
It's a hex bar. You don't have to use your back.
That's fair. Good point.
Okay, keep going.
Don't tell us.
I don't know
what
what
that
that X bar is, but
though.
Trap bar. Like you stand in the middle of it and the handles.
you
trying-
definitely-
okay,
yeah, yeah.
Handles are higher.
Yeah, I
okay, keep going. It's a
Pull-ups,
great test.
Strict.
It's a great test. One of the best tests ever.
Yeah. Great test.
Wonderful test. Many people are saying.
Everybody's seeing it. But then burpees.
Oh yes.
Now that is Blaine's garage.
Yeah.
What's the parameters there?
30. Max is 30. You got 1 minute to do
In a
some-
minute. Is there any break between like minute deadlift, minute
Yeah.
sled push, minute?
Usually there's like 5 or 10 minutes depending on what
Oh,
we got
you're
going
fully
on.
rested.
Because we'll have to
You
do
just send it.
multiple groups to go through it.
Are we going good standards for movement, like chest to the floor, full extension, hands overhead?
That's the standard now. Whether standards upheld at times because
We need
we start
good,
a
we
time
need good
crunch.
judging.
Yeah. So it just depends.
All right.
Usually we'll do those as one big group, so not necessarily.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's
Okay,
fine.
it's good. I like
Build
what
it
they're
up.
doing.
Yeah,
If you get on the ground, can you get up?
exactly.
If there's a heavy influence on the ground, can you lift it? Can you lift that guy in the handcuffs into your squad car?
Yep. And then there's a standard that has to be set and the standard that has to be met. And if you can't meet it, then you can't be on the team. So I don't have a problem with that part of it.
It's great.
Thankfully, nobody's beat me. So
It's awesome.
figure it out.
When is the next one? When will you challenged again?
I think it's the next, or they're sending the schedule out. I think it's in March, and I got a half marathon I'm running in March, so I'm not really lifting weights. So it's going to be a rough ride.
Someone's coming for the bell.
Can I come do this? Can I come do the squat PT test?
Come on, we'll make it work.
The SWAT PT test. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. We'll have a guest. It's fun.
That'd be cool. I would love to. We could do some stuff where you can make me look really foolish too. Like you could run me through some SWAT stuff.
Yeah.
And just make me look like an idiot.
We can
Maybe
make it happen.
yell at me and like, I would love that.
I know a guy.
Sweet. That'd be so cool.
Yeah, we can make it work for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that.
I'd love to see Brock do it too.
Yeah, absolutely. We can make it happen.
Volunteer for that, Brock.
If you do it, I'll do it.
Okay.
Well, that's easy. You're stuck now.
Done.
That was the worst deal you ever made. He just asked if he could do it.
It just sounded good as it was coming. I don't know, but I'll do it.
We've talked about this, so you forgive all the ones who've heard this already. But he puked his brains out in my
The first
driveway
time.
too, which was fun. So
That's called giving it your all. I like it.
exactly. Yep. He's on a small list of people that's happened to here, and so it's a proud.
It's on an even smaller list, I think, of the ones who came back after.
Yeah, he finished the next round after that, which is impressive.
And came back for another workout.
But I have missed the last two.
You have. That's right. We got to get you back over here, by the way.
All in, baby.
Yeah.
Except for, never mind, not all in.
Entrusted is brought to you in part by Primo Golf Apparel. Based out of Utah and built on a simple belief: golfers are athletes. When I first partnered with Primo, I was proud to be their first ever professional ambassador because what they were doing wasn't just about fashion, it was about function. They were among the first to introduce golf joggers to the game, and they changed how golfers thought about performance wear. Today, Primo's lineup goes way beyond joggers, from polos to outerwear to shorts to leisure wear that actually moves with you. Every piece is designed for golfers who train, grind, and compete, whether that's in the gym, on the range, or in life. So, if you want to look sharp, move freely, and represent what it really means to be an athlete on and off the course, check out Primo Golf Apparel. You can visit primogolfapparel.com and use code Entrusted for 15% off your next order. Primo Golf Apparel. Golfers are athletes.
I want to dial back in just to kind of your story, and
We've been in his story the whole time. Just so you're aware.
I understand, but
I forgot to
we
answer.
were just talking about
we're
on the same page.
This
is his story.
You're right, but we're talking about Brock working out and throwing up.
I did dance around the degree thing, and I apologize for that. So I forgot about that part of the question earlier.
Oh, the degree. Yeah.
Just take us there. Then.
You got
Let's
a
go.
lot.
Go
You
ahead.
got a lot going on.
Finish us there. Let's go there.
3 degrees, right?
Yes. When I went back to work in the school, or when I went to work in the schools, I walked through the halls, and you see the teachers' rooms, and you're like, these people have degrees. I don't deserve to work here. So it was not necessarily don't deserve, but I need to earn my place in this system. And at the time, my wife had 3 degrees, so
What does your wife do, real quick?
she's a teacher.
Okay, cool.
She's a teacher over at Carver. She does EL, so English
You
learning.
guys don't have any wall space for all these diplomas in your house. You got a whole room for all the diplomas.
I got to find mine. I don't even know where they're at. But no, I went back, and then I had to go get my associates because my GPA was so low. And then I went through that, and actually had to take extra classes after I got it just to get my GPA high enough to get back into Faulkner. And then once I finished my associates, I went and got my bachelor's. Thankfully, they have a great program where you can do it in basically 15 months, all online, like shorter condensed semesters. And then I said I would never go back again. I had accomplished the goal, and I could say I wasn't a quitter anymore. And I went back and finished what I started. And then they kept emailing me that they would give me a percentage off if I went back. And I said, no, thanks. And then finally, one day I was like, why not? So I went back and got my master's, and then I will never go back again. End up now.
That's what you say. You're going to have a PhD before you know it.
I did look into it, but a dissertation is not anything that I would like to write anytime soon. So finding something that I'm passionate about that I would like to write a dissertation on, I would actually go back and do it. But until I find that topic, I'm not doing any more research in APA formatting. So hard pass limit for me. But I did get to go to Command College and do that, and got top graduate there. So I've been very blessed to
Which
be able
is what? Command College.
So that's
We're all just civilians.
that's it's basically just a leadership class. It's very intensive. I want to say it's 360 or 320 hours, I think is what it is.
Wow.
And then you have a 2-week of actually going and doing a presentation. You have to do a research project, do a presentation on it. I was blessed to be able to be allowed to do that and get the knowledge that comes with that. It's basically just an executive leadership course. It gives great knowledge, a lot of great leadership things, topics. And thankfully I was able to do that, and I got that too. So now we can no more education.
Love it. You're learning every day.
Always, never quit. I'll never stop, no matter what it is.
How many people work in the departments that you sort of like oversee? Like, how many people are you leading, roughly?
It varies depending on classes when we hire them. Like right now I have 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And it just varies. It could be 2, it could be 11, it could be whatever. It depends on how many people we have to hire.
Yeah. Okay.
Thankfully, like you mentioned earlier, the culture for where I work is so great that we're one of the only departments that is full in the whole state.
Great.
So I don't know the exact number, but it's not very many. So to be able to say that we have a department that's full because the culture that's been built, not necessarily by me, but by everybody that works there, from the top down is a great achievement for us as a collective
absolutely.
group.
Makes me proud to live in this area, just to have people from the top leading that way. It's great.
So what I wanted to ask is, as you look back, I mean, you got a lot going on. It's really cool to hear your story, and you think about as you're walking back through your own life in this discussion and remembering the moment that you were failing out of college to now, what do you feel like the Lord has taught you about trusting him, his plan, leaning on him, as you go from failing out to then working in the to the manufacturing plant to then your patrol, all the things that you've done, seeing him and his faithfulness weaved throughout that?
You're never not going to question things, but it's really taught me not to question certain aspects of life, or really any aspect of life. There are things that I can control and things that I can't control, and I depend on him to guide the way. And I'm not going to question where I'm at, why I'm there. Maybe there's a purpose for why I'm there. There's times I have to step back and say, I might not necessarily agree with what's going on in life or where I'm at, but there's a reason why I'm here. Try to figure out what his purpose is that he has for me, and then look around and then try to give everything that I can give to that situation instead of questioning why I'm there and constantly worrying about what I can't control. So very oftentimes I question, why am I sitting here in this position, and then second guessing certain things. But I look back and I would never change anything about my story that I have, because I wouldn't be here anywhere in life. And thankfully I had the great support system of my wife, a great support system of family and friends, and my relationship with God and my religion to go along the way. And it's really instilled in me. And I'll never be perfect again. I need to be better as a Christian in everything that I do. But that's always a goal that I can set, and I'll never question where he's got me and what the purpose is for where I'm at.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Were you ready to jump in there?
Yeah, no, I was going to say one thing I really can just tell by the way you talk about it, but even where you're at now, and we kind of had this discussion a long time ago, a few weeks ago, but of not feeling like you're where you want to be. For instance, just hearing you talk about it, the chief or whoever asked you to be in this position, you didn't want to be in the position. And even you telling us that, like, it sounds, I can tell you're giving 100% to where you're at, even if it may not be where you want to be. And I know I struggle with that. And I know a lot of people struggle with that. And I think that's something that's so hard in line with what the podcast is called, Entrusted. It's like you're entrusted with this specific thing, whether you like it or not. How do you see, I guess two things, like where do you see your career going from here, where you're at now? And then, like, how do you find the joy or the thing that you're learning with where you're entrusted currently with the position you're in now?
So setting goals is always important, but I've always been one that, I set goals, but sometimes you get pigeonholed into those goals. So I show up every day, give 110% of everything that I got to the position that I'm in, whether it's at home with my wife and kids. Sometimes I felt that often, and then go to work and try to do the same thing. And wherever that path goes, I trust that he's going to lead me where he wants me to be. I've tried to control things, and controlling a narrative isn't necessarily always going to work. So that just adds more stress into my life, trying to control things that I can't control. But I control my effort, I control my attitude, and I control the way I go about my business. So I show up every day and do what I need to do. And then wherever that goal takes me, then I'll go where it goes. Again, having specific goals is important in life, depending on what you're doing. But when it comes to work, I try not to set too much of like, hey, I want to do this by this time. I want to do this by this time, because I never in a million years would see myself in the position that I'm in. Yeah. So, I could have spent years worrying about doing X, Y, and Z, but instead I just show up and do my job. Yeah. And
sounds like Carrie.
Yeah. Common theme of,
Just a common theme of something that we are not good at.
No.
Speak for yourself. Don't put that on all of us. Jeez.
I mean,
sure. Yeah. I know Brock isn't. No. Because we talked about it. I'm not calling him out. We talked about it.
It's hard. Yeah. It's tough. I think that is something I just am seeing more and more in people I respect and admire. Is you just have to embrace the present, and you've got to just maximize today, because our life is but a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Mm-hmm. And we're not promised tomorrow. And so in the grander spiritual sense, in the supernatural reality of life, we have to come to grips with that. And then that sort of lets us just be like, okay, how do I do what I'm doing right now the best that I can? Because otherwise I'm never going to be here. I'm going to always be like shooting for that thing out there. And that's never gone well for anyone.
Yeah.
You know, you've got a lot of different leadership roles that you've served in and continue to serve in. As you look back to, I'm sure, maybe not, but I would assume you probably made some mistakes along the way as a leader. Is there anything specific you look back and you think, man, that's a lesson that I wish I could tell someone before they make the same mistake?
There's always lots of mess ups and things you should have done better. Being humble enough to understand that you can mess up and still lead your people. And one of the things I've learned is my legacy is not what I do at work. It's what I do at home with my kids and my wife. They're the legacy that I'm going to leave behind one day.
That's good.
At the end of the day, work's going to go. I'm just a number that's going to get replaced. All I can do is control that. My legacy is how I raise my kids, and do I raise them faithfully, and do I raise them to serve the Lord, and do I raise them to represent us in the right way and do the right things. But I mean, in short, to answer your question, is being humble. Sometimes we can get a little too cocky when it comes to being leaders, and you have to do what I say, how I say it, when I say it. But that's no way to lead. You lead by example. You lead by showing the way and doing the things that you're asking your people to do. Because if you can't do the things that you're asking them to do, then nobody's going to trust you to lead them. So just being humble enough to understand that as a leader, it doesn't take less work off of you. It actually gives you more work to do and show the way. So
It's good.
And it is good because I feel like now it's become you hear delegation is a important part of leadership, I guess. And I think that's where it's kind of been interesting too. If like, even in, I guess my career is probably not one to look at, but just in hearing you talk about it, like delegation, like it's good. It allows you to do more things, but if you're not in the man in the arena, if you're not in the arena doing it, if you're not leading by the example, it's kind of, how do you get people to trust you? And so it's an interesting concept to think about in terms of being a leader.
yeah, absolutely. And I'm just a peasant leader. Like, I'm just a low totem pole. But again, it doesn't matter what position you're in. You can be the lowest ranking person, any business that you're in, and still be a leader. You don't have to have an official rank to be a leader. That's an assigned position. That's your title. And then actually leading is different. So I can assign anybody a leadership title. It doesn't make them a leader.
Yeah.
Actually doing the job is being a leader. So it's just kind of my perspective of it.
That's good.
Were you about to say something there?
If you have something profound, I want to e-brake real quick and just 180-degree U-turn real
I saw
fast.
you rolling. I was looking at you.
This is my brain going all over the place. So let's go back to the ATVs on game day as a SWAT guy.
I'm glad you asked if we could go back there first, because that is a big.
It's a big.
shift.
This
I love
is
it.
yeah. I mean, we were. That's my. I don't know.
Take us there. Take us there.
So we're there. We got the dogs patrolling. It is complete chaos. A lot of school spirit. What are we looking for? Like, I'm there enjoying game day, singing the song and yelling War Eagle. Like, what's work mode for you in those moments?
Honestly, I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say.
That's
So I'm
fair.
in trouble.
Really? I mean, is it like there is so much going on?
Yeah.
How much do y'all plan for versus how much are you just reacting to the situation, just kind of like making sure things are good?
Really, it's the presence, being seen, letting
Yeah.
people know we're there.
You're seen.
Yeah, thankfully there's a great network of people from all over that come to make sure people are safe on game days.
Yeah.
And I have absolutely nothing to do with the planning of that. Thankfully, there are people much smarter than me that plan all that. I just get to show up and ride around on an ATV, and then
Y'all do a monthly calendar? Y'all should do a calendar, like a picture of the calendar.
Raise some
That'd be
funds.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like,
That would be cool. Doesn't have to be sexual. It can
no,
just be,
it can just be like around.
yeah,
college
just
game
we're not
day.
thinking like fireman calendars here. We just need you in your SWAT gear.
12.
Like looks like Batman.
Yeah, oh, there's Jonathan. Oh man, look at that picture.
Yeah, April, baby.
Funny. Y'all actually need to do that.
I'm all in on that because I want to
That'd be
raise some
sick.
money for one of our events called Shop with the Cops. So that'd be great. I'd love to raise money for that.
All right, there we go.
But it's just being present, being seen, trying to deter as much crime as possible. Like you think of it in the sense of, you got the cops riding around in their patrol cars. They're actually looking for something, but their presence alone deters crime that you'll never know that you deterred. Like you go into Circle K to get your energy drink for tonight. You don't know how many crimes you stopped from happening just by pulling up and doing that because you were seen. And it's kind of the same concept on game days.
Yeah,
Thankfully, nothing ever happens.
yeah,
Hopefully if somebody shows up with that mindset that they want to do something, they see all the wonderful people that are there, regardless of whether they're SWAT or the uniformed guys with dogs, and they realize like, hey, this probably isn't the best place to do this. Let's change this attitude.
yeah,
And hopefully we prevent that from ever happening and nobody even knows it, including us. So
yeah.
it's kind of the whole point behind it. I used to get to stand on the statues during Tiger Walk, but they don't let me do that anymore. So it's kind of sad.
You stand on the top of the ATV, you can still get a good view.
I got a side follow up to you.
Okay, yeah.
Just because we're on the topic. So I had a dream to be in the FBI, like since I was a little kid. Admitted I just wanted to make more money than what I thought an FBI agent was at the time could make. So I just never pursued it. That's just the honest truth. I had a passion for business and operations, and so anyway, my life took a different direction of actually trying to like go down that path. But I went to the
bureaucracy needs to pay more.
no.
Those
Well,
are
now
actually
it-
some of the best FBI agents that aren't just cops.
Well,
They're actual guys that have law degrees, business degrees, stuff like that.
Let's pass the SWAT test first.
No, not exactly. Well, so I did the FBI Academy, and I guess two things. No, it was just not the actual academy. Like it was like a leadership program. Okay, it wasn't
Really?
Like,
It was like that one in there. I was like,
It was like a 2-hour online course.
well, now they don't.
it's
let
like when you get a Harvard online degree or whatever.
They
you
emailed it
took
to
one.
him. It was a link.
Yeah.
well, no, now they
Skip
don't.
through the Zoom.
Sorry, they don't. I guess it's 29. Like you have to be 29 to. I don't know. Anyway, besides the point.
The dream is still alive, Brock.
Two questions at the end. Did you watch this video? What color was? Congratulations, you passed.
Certificate
let me
with
get
or
back-
without a border.
So they taught about. So if you get pulled over by a police, and I kind of wanted to ask you for our listeners, but I'm always taught like the first thing that I do is I roll down the windows, all windows. Is that something that you would recommend?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it allows y'all to feel safe, right? Is that?
Yeah, and it's actually something I was teaching the guys that just got back from the academy today was traffic stops. But
This is a good question.
I know. So
I have a
just,
follow up to this.
And how do you get out of a ticket? You know, is it being nice?
off the rails. No, don't speed.
yeah,
Well, I'm saying okay, but
Don't break the law.
I agree.
That one.
But there, in some circumstances, there might be a reason why, and so if you approach the situation more kindly, and
I feel like the circumstances that would be appropriate for that probably we don't have to explain that in this scenario.
no, I'm just saying. I just think it's something that because I have.
All right,
gotten
we're
a
gonna-
ticket. Yeah, that's fine.
How should I respectfully care for law enforcement when they pull me over for
That's a
breaking
good
the
question,
law?
Brandon. Thank you.
So yeah, I can give you the best practices.
Yes,
What-
thank you.
And it's actually part of the class we teach at the high school. And rolling your windows down is a great idea. It's something we tell the officers to actually ask the people to do because we're human just like everybody else. So we have the same emotions, the same feelings, the same response as everybody else does. So I guarantee you, if I pull you over, I'm just as nervous as you are. Not because like I'm scared to death, but I don't know what I'm encountering. And anytime I pull somebody over, that's a adrenaline spike for me, just like it is for you. Like you're, oh crap, the cops, there's blue lights behind me. I got to pull over. And then I'm like, oh crap, I don't know who's in this car.
Yeah.
So I can't speak for everybody. I can kind of speak for the way we train people to be professional, polite, and do the job in a professional manner. But rolling the windows down is great. Like you said, it helps put the officer at ease, putting your hands on the steering wheel, keeping them somewhere where they're seen. So the last thing we want to do is have somebody just moving their hands around, because hands are what can kill you. Yeah. So that's why you hear a lot of officers tell you, put your hands on the steering wheel or keep your hands where I can see them. It's not because they're trying to be mean or whatever. It's because hands are what kills you. You can't shoot me or kill me with your eyes, but you can use your hands and do that. So, so best practice, windows down. Probably best practice is be polite and courteous. Is it going to get you out of every ticket? No, but I guarantee you it's going to go a lot farther than you saying, not saying you would, but anybody saying bad words or questioning why they pulled you over. Yeah. The side of the road is not a courtroom. Is what we teach people.
That's good.
So
that's a clip right there. People need to know that.
It's not what I really want to know.
Of the road.
I'm gonna get a sticker. The side of the road is not a courtroom.
That's actually funny. That was where my question was. Do y'all think at all about the people that have the blue stickers, or they have the different like American flag with the blue thing?
Defund the police?
Because I had a friend that got a lot of tickets in high school, and then like after the third one, he got a sticker because he thought it would help him not get tickets, and I don't think that.
It is a tactic.
If you don't speed, you won't get tickets.
That's what I was.
Usually, it doesn't help too much, but we do greatly appreciate the support.
There you go. That's a perfect answer.
That's a great answer.
But again, I'm not saying
still don't break the law.
It won't or it will, but we do greatly appreciate the support that you have on the roadway for us.
Probably the best way to support us would be to drive the speed limit.
That would be a great way to do it. But also, like when they run your driver's history and you have 14 speeding tickets already, the thin blue line sticker is not going to do a whole lot.
Another question. We live in the South. We live in Alabama. All the laws have changed here. I had a concealed carry permit for years. Mm-hmm. Now it's kind of gone to a federal mandate where there's no concealed permits or
constitutional carry.
Constitutional carry. I actually have been pulled over with a firearm in my vehicle. But if you are pulled over with a firearm in your vehicle, is the best practice to just notify the officer? Like, officer, I have a firearm, it's not loaded, or it is loaded, or whatever, and then just make them aware.
Yeah, and usually what I tell people when I pull them over, absolutely, hands on the steering wheel, whatever. By that point, I would, if you have the ability, because it's going to take them a second before they walk up to the car, have my driver's license and insurance out, because 9 times out of 10, that's what they're going to ask for. Yeah. And if you already have it in your hand, ready to go at the steering wheel, again, that's going to put them at ease, so you're not reaching for anything. And then it's, like you're saying, hey, I do have a firearm in the center console. Yeah. And like 9 times out of 10, you don't reach for yours, I won't reach for mine. Yeah. We call it a day. Yeah. And then there are some that will separate you and then from the car, and just for safety reasons, and just make sure it's secure until they get done with the traffic stop. Yeah. But it's always good to just let them know. Yeah. And then, because the more honest you are with them, the better rapport you have with them, probably the further that's going to go with the comfortableness of how they feel with you.
Are you laughing, remembering the ticket you got in my car, or I got in?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to bring that up.
I got one about probably 2 or 3 months ago right up here. And I kind of did the thing where I had everything ready, and didn't help at all. It ended up just being that there was maybe one word spoken in the whole interaction. Yeah. I had license.
Ticket, boom, boom, go.
Y'all have a good day.
Thanks for the bill.
Then there was another time.
That's efficient. That's just good, just governmental service.
Ben's gotten a few speeding tickets in his life. I've been in the car. I've been both times.
He was in the car both times.
One time he was going 95 miles an hour.
Well, it's your fault. You're making him drive faster.
He's changed the miles per hour. You could probably look that up and let us know officially at some point. But he told my mom at my rehearsal dinner that it was like 105. So I don't know where the speed actually
felt
was.
like that.
Split the difference, 100.
So let me ask. I know you know, but this is just something I learned when I was at the
FBI Academy.
Not the legit academy, but the thing. Do you know?
You realize he's not an FBI agent, right?
I know, but this is not.
He works for Opelika PD.
I know, but they were teaching about everyday practices in the patrol. Do you know after they get out of the car, they run the license? They do the radio. Do you know the first thing?
He does all that.
The first thing that they do when they walk.
Oh, that's what they do.
Let me finish. Do you know what the first thing they do is when they walk up to the car? before they address you.
Who are you asking? Because
I'm asking you two. He knows.
I'm like, that's what he does.
He knows. I know. I'm just asking if y'all know.
the first thing they do when they come back,
No, when they get out of their car to walk up to you, what's the first thing they do when they approach your car?
the second when they're coming back, or before they got your driver's license?
Before they got your driver's license.
The first walk.
The first walk. And do you know what I'm talking about? Okay.
I don't
It's
know.
the most important thing. Well, not really, but kind of. Very important.
Hand on the firearm.
Looking to see if someone's getting out the other side.
No,
I don't know.
you got it.
Talking about fingerprint?
Yep.
Yeah. Not giving away tactics.
What do they do?
Yeah, you tell us.
They fingerprint the back of your car. So if something were to happen, their fingerprint is on the back of the car. And I don't know the significance of everything, but
Sounds
If
like
something
you
were
can't tell us,
happening.
but I'm glad you're telling us.
Yeah, that's cool.
I know, but it's just something that they
Nah,
If you
So
ever
the
see-
FBI Academy was legit.
they it's like a in the event of something.
That's only FBI agents, which
Yeah, I mean,
is
it's
not
every-
But
it's not. I mean, I don't think I get in trouble for that because I mean it's common knowledge because
Yeah.
you know it.
Yeah.
That's a common trend they used to teach. They still teach it some. Like you walk up and you put your thumbprint on the taillight or something. So if like that somebody in that car does something, they can positively identify that car. And it's not always the case. I don't do it. I've never done it in my career. It's kind of a way they teach it, but common technology now. Like if something happens, we're gonna know which car it is.
pretty sure you can find a car.
Yeah, you're not going to need my fingerprint off of a dusty car because we're in Alabama, so somebody's been driving dirt roads. So.
That must be more of a bureau thing.
I don't know.
No, it's the way they used to teach it back in the day.
I'm just sharing information to the listener.
I love it, bro.
It
It's
is.
great.
But yeah, you'll see it on movies and stuff too. Like they'll walk up and do it. So I've never done it.
Have you ever had a speeding ticket, given a ticket where you just took them straight to jail because they're going so fast?
No, I haven't. I've had it happen to me almost, but good old Talsey.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
I have this is actually a question. Can y'all pull each other over, or what happens if you were speeding, no lights on, you're just driving too fast in your car, and you pass a guy that's,
Let me tell
gunning
you,
people?
that needs to happen more often.
it's happened. Absolutely, it's happened.
They will pull
Especially
each
whenever
other.
you're in other jurisdictions, like going to classes or something. Wow. Troopers love to do it. Wow. But troopers love to pull people over anyway. So
That's new news.
it
to me.
happens. Yeah, happens a lot. What happens after that depends. Like usually it's a stern phone call to your supervisor, which is way worse than getting a ticket. So it happens. But I mean, we're not above the law like anybody else. And that's where it goes back to, you talk about leadership. Not only do I have to be a good representation for the people that I lead, but for the community that I serve. And that's something we teach our guys is you can't tell someone to do something while you're also breaking the same rule that you're telling them not to do.
Absolutely.
Because you're setting the standard for what you expect people to follow. Yeah. And that's not just people that work with you or for you.
No
It's
blue
also-
lights to the Dunkin' Donuts parking
No,
lot.
no blue lights to get through the red light. None of that stuff. So.
We got
Anything else you wanted to talk about
Yeah,
that was on your mind, you wanted to share, or something that's been impactful in your life?
One of the biggest things is the officer wellness, mental health side of where we're at now, and the ability for people to see that that's an issue. If you look at some of the statistics, we kill ourselves more than we get killed feloniously on the streets. So having the ability to have the officer wellness side of that is extremely important, and getting that stigma out of it, just in men in general, but especially in law enforcement. And then getting the knowledge out there, the communication, serving the people that you not only in your community, but serving the people that you work next to and with is extremely important. And then having them have the ability to step up and say, Johnny's not right. We need to take care of him because how can he serve the community if we know he's not right? So the mental health side of it is extremely important to me anyways. That's one of the leadership roles that I've been given, and I love it. To be honest with you, it's something that I'm not well versed in or wasn't well versed in, but it's something that I'm continuously learning about and trying to break the stigma throughout law enforcement. And thankfully we have, even though we're Alabama and we get a bad rap for a lot of things, we have one of the most proactive mental health for law enforcement. So
That's awesome.
throughout the state. So it's been great.
Get help. If
Absolutely.
you feel like you need it, just go reach out. Thankful there's resources out there.
Then, finding the hobbies that help you get that stress out, and then finding your why. So,
Amen.
I know where I'm at.
I know before we wrap up, you asked that question. For the listeners, if anybody wants to potentially look at becoming a police officer, what's the steps that they have to take? What's the blueprint of starting that career?
So for most departments, it's figure out where you want to work, and I would highly suggest doing research because, Auburn and Opelika are sister cities right next to each other, but we have vastly different law enforcement agencies. When it comes to the way we police, there's nothing wrong with the way Auburn polices. They have a great department filled with great people, but our culture is a little bit different in the way we do things. The community that we serve is a little different. We don't have to deal with game days, which is what you have to deal with in Auburn. So, like, if you say you work for Auburn, you're not going to get a game day off for the next 25 years. So, that's something to look into. But then the resources that are available to you, like the mental health side of it, what do you want in your career? What's available at that department? Having that goal set out for what you want in your career, because this 25 years is a long time. So, it's never going to be easy. It's never going to be perfect. But if you work for a good department filled with good people that have a good culture, that 25 years is going to be a lot better than dealing with some stresses that you're going to have to deal with from the administrative side going to another department. So research is extremely important. Actually going and doing ride-alongs, getting to know the department is something that a lot of departments allow. And then getting online and actually filling out the application and doing the PT test is always the first thing. And thankfully in the state of Alabama, right, wrong, or indifferent is set by the state. It's 1.5 miles and 15:28, and then push-ups and sit-ups and an obstacle course. And then passing that, and then typically, depending on where you go, there's a board interview. And then from there, you have a polygraph. Then another interview, and then psych evals, physicals, and all kinds of other stuff that you have to go through that are all mandated by the state, thankfully. So we'll make sure we got the right people serving in the right positions to serve our communities throughout the state. Thankfully, there's some states that allow their agencies to make their own standards, and that's not upheld throughout the entire state. And if you don't have a set standard, how do you uphold that? So thankfully in Alabama, the standard is set. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Maybe we need to raise the bar in some categories, but that's for people above my pay grade. Yeah. But the bar is still set at a high enough level to where we're getting the right people in to serve our communities, doing the right things. So, but yeah, identify where you want to be, make a goal, and then start the process.
I'm sure there's some sharp young men out there watching or listening to this that law enforcement could use to put some leaders out there that can form and shape and serve our communities. So it's definitely a career to consider, probably one that more people should, because it's so critical to our infrastructure locally.
Absolutely.
You'll never make a fortune, but not necessarily from a money standpoint, but the emotional side of it, the impact that you can have is outstanding.
Yeah,
so
100%.
And it may not have to be something that you do for 25 years. Maybe it's something you do for 5 to 10 years. Yeah. And that'll set you up for the rest of your life because of the discipline that you'll create, the relationships you'll create will help you in everything else that you do. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't always have to be the end-all be-all career that you're going to do. Thankfully for me, it is. So
yeah,
absolutely.
Ben, land it.
I was going to say Brock wanted to ask our question this time.
Oh, goodness. I forget your questions.
Oh, come on. It's the title of the podcast.
Ooh, I know that question, but the second
Ask that
question.
one.
Brock's like, wait.
How do you word it again? Oh, my goodness. I'm forgetting how you word it.
Just however you want. Just
however you want.
Improv.
So what are we trying to figure out here?
All right. I'll do the final 2 questions because I can remember them. So in everything that we've talked about and in line with the Entrusted podcast is the name of our podcast.
Welcome, everyone.
What do you think that the Lord has entrusted you with the most? And then how are you stewarding that in your life right now? And I guess we've talked about it a ton, but just to kind of sum it up in, a few sentences, what that looks like.
You're like looking forward.
Looking forward, yeah.
There's a lot of ways to go with it, to be honest with you. I never think that I'm very important, so I don't feel like I'm entrusted with a lot. But really,
That's the point. We all are, regardless of what you
yes, 100%. And that's a perspective that I'm
That's what we're here to
constantly
figure
trying-
out.
That's what when we've created this. That's
think. All right, well, we're going to delete this episode because
No, there's always something that you're entrusted with, but for me, it's always trying to figure out where he wants me and what that is. But really, it's to spread his message that the path isn't always lit, but wherever you're at is where he wants you to be, and to make sure that we don't second guess where we're at, but we're constantly striving to achieve the best version of us that we can be for him, and then make sure that other people see that and never second guess where we're at and why we're there, but to keep stacking those days on top of each other so that we can be a good representation of him and set the light for those that work up under us or with us, and set the example so that maybe they don't second guess where they're at and question their career paths or where they're at, or essentially just worry about comparing themselves to others or what they don't have, but entrusting that where they're at is where they need to be, and just to find purpose in where they're at.
Yeah, that's so good.
I needed that. Thank you.
Yeah, that was good. That was well put. The last question and most important question that Ben loves.
Most important. Wow.
I will, because you put emphasis on it. It's the last question. I mean, it's
Handicap.
obviously the most important question. You put it last. Not really, but so Ben always asks, and it can be in a range of things. But if you
Rob's
had
personal opinions do not reflect that of the Entrusted podcast.
exactly, so if you could recommend a book, maybe a book of the Bible, a podcast, even some type of advice that you've heard or listened to that you would think is impactful to your life and that would be good for other people, what is like that one thing that you would tell someone to go listen to or go read or
And it
whatever
can't be the FBI Academy.
That's right. It cannot be the FBI.
Well, listening to the first
Link in the
episode-
show notes.
There you go. Listening to the first Entrusted podcast. That was a great answer.
That was good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, like, I know listening to the first one that you listen to a lot of leadership stuff, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint because there's so much stuff out there.
Yeah.
But there's lots of things, like, to answer that in short. I don't really know, to be honest with you. Oh, I know that was the question. That's not a very good answer for a podcast, but there's so much great info out there. But I love Simon Sinek. If you've ever listened to him, he's got a lot of great wisdom when it comes to understanding your why and where you're at. There's a lot of great quotes that he gives. And he also does something with the circles. This is why, how, what, and then why you do what you do is how you do what you do, and then what's the outcome of what you do. And it's a great episode to listen to, and a lot of great things come from there. And obviously in the Bible, we have so many great verses we can look at. So just to pinpoint one, I'm sorry.
Just read the whole thing.
Yeah, read the whole thing. But I do have some right here if you want to hear them.
Yeah, I'd love to hear.
Yeah. Give us a selection of your favorite life verses.
Yeah, Proverbs 11:14, where there is no guidance, the people fall, but in abundance of counselors, there is victory.
That's good.
Get help. That's a good one.
I like it. It's a good one.
Surround yourself with great people. Yeah.
Thank you for your time. It's been
Absolutely.
awesome.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Sarge.
It's been great.
To go from a guy seeing another guy on a putting green to sitting in his house and being able to work out in his gym and be his friend is quite the journey. So
That's right.
Bam.
That's right.
And now
There it
to
is
me,
right
just full circle, just fanboying at game days.
getting to hang out.
I didn't know you were that famous, Blaine. I did not know you were that famous. I mean, I knew you were.
I wasn't.
You'd have to understand
You're
my-
exactly in the right.
My obsession with nerdiness golf stuff. So
Yeah, just a niche group of like
We've got
4
some good-
people.
We've got
My
some good
mom,
stuff.
my wife, Jonathan, my agent,
And Nate Pass.
and Nate Bass 5.
yeah, Nate's very important. Yeah,
So funny.
Thanks, man.
All right.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hey guys, this is Blaine, one of the hosts here at Entrusted. We are really grateful you chose to spend some time with us today. We know you have lots of options, and we hope that the thoughts and the messages from this talk we had with our guests really propelled you to explore the design that you were created for. The best ways to support us, check out our socials, like, subscribe, leave a review, tell your friends, family, coworkers, neighbors. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we hope you'll tune back in next time.